5 million emails a day out on the station. But when is my guest appearance on your show? No, Mikey, this is Mono from CBS 4. Hey, man, great success with your first year. Got to start somewhere. Just wait and see where you are here in the next couple of years, because I catch you whenever I can. Love listening to you. Keep doing what you're doing, and in a couple of years, I'd be shocked if you haven't doubled what you're doing now. Congratulations on the 1 year, my friend, and keep up the good work.
It is the Tipping Point with Mike Tipton right here on Fox Sports 1380. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. Even though I have great comments here that I can actually say, because it's someone, like, obviously it's spam, like, because why the hell not? Like, why not just spam a show as it gets ongoing right here? I'm not going to post it up in the feed. Like, if you are on the actual Fox Sports 1380 page, then you are privy to this beautiful comment here from Umesh Kumar, who said that it's great to write this testimony about how he got rid of his genital herpes. The one thing you can't get rid of, this show. Ha-ha! It is the 1 year anniversary of the Tipping Point with Mike Tipton right here on Fox Sports 1380. Thank everyone that has tuned in out there. Radio Land, I see Martha Dominguez, the Web 10, tuned in right here as well on the Facebook live stream. Everyone out there on Twitter, on YouTube, and of course on the Fox Sports 1380 homepage. Hopefully you are not like Mr. Kumar here. Obviously spam. Hopefully you're real and you aren't dealing with the issues that he's having in his genital area. God, this is like, the internet is a disgusting place. I love the internet, but my God, it is absolutely disgusting. Chillin AX says, I like that I can hear you talk about herpes. Go Miners, LMAO. I mean, you talk about, once again, like me tuning in, like the first thing I see here, the first comments that I see here are, old boy talking about that. Once again, like that is what this show is. Like we are the genital warts on iHeartRadio right now. That's what we bring everybody. I'm proud of it. It is my life's work as we now entered year 2 of a daily show here on Fox Sports 1380, the barren desert known as Fox Sports 1380. There's a lot of stuff to get into today. We have the Atlanta Braves right now with a commanding 2-0 lead over the Miami Marlins. That's not where we're starting. We aren't even going to start with Houston, the Astros, currently trailing against the Oakland A's while they were leading a little while ago. We're not even going to start right there. We're not going to start with the Yankees, who have a game against the Tampa Bay Rays later on. We're not going to talk about the Dodgers right now. No. Lest you thought that this was some sort of show where we were going to be talking about that type of stuff. You bet your sweet rear end we sure as hell aren't. Because we're getting you into the opening tip. It is the opening tip right here on Fox Sports 1380. If you're tuned in on the Facebook stream, go ahead and give us a wave. Give us all kinds of stuff. Give us a little bit of love. That's what we do. Like, share the page, do all that stuff. Same thing if you're out on Twitter, YouTube, any of that. Share, retweet, do all that good stuff. That is enough of me trying to grow the audience. I love us where we are right now. As I sit back and I, just overdose on sports right now, it's too much. You just got it in your veins. Like there's no way you can get away from it now. We're in the middle of the MLB playoffs. We're in the middle of the NBA finals. And yet the one thing every single one of us seems to only care about is simply the NFL. And how dare we, any of us out there, possibly even think about messing up any of our stuff with the NFL? Well, I will tell you this. It's not COVID that's going to move a game. It is a hurricane Hurricane. I guess we went through all of the letters, and we're now back at the D's. And instead of actually assigning a name to it, we're just going Delta, Hurricane Delta. Because why the hell not, right? Delta threatening Louisiana. LSU has already moved up to Missouri, so they're evacuating that area. And it seems like the New Orleans Saints and the Los Angeles Chargers are going to move their game up to Indianapolis, of all places, to move their game to. I'm okay with it. They're going to be playing at their field anyway. They're going to be playing against Cleveland in Cleveland, so maybe, it's not a huge deal or anything of that nature. But it just seems like, why Indianapolis? Like why not San Antonio? Why not Dallas? Why not, hell, even El Paso, as we are closer to the midway point between LA and New Orleans than what Indianapolis is? That's just me. I'm just being a homer. And if you want to go with the exact halfway point between New Orleans and Los Angeles, Van Horn. Let's play the game in Van Horn. I think they got a high school stadium out there. You're not going to have a bunch of fans anyway. Might as well have all the Van Hornites, Van Hornians. I'm not sure what you would call them. Somebody out there much smarter than. Let me know what you would call somebody from Van Horn as I try to clear this hurdle in my mind, because Van Hornians just sounds bad, just as bad as Van Hornites. So we'll see. We'll see. But that should be what the New Orleans Saints should do. That is what the Los Angeles Chargers should petition for as well. Why go to Indianapolis whenever you can just go to another city? Why not Dallas? There's more than enough stadiums there. Hell, why the hell not Austin, San Antonio? Like there's so many other places that you can go to outside of Indianapolis. And of course, because this is a Texas-based show, I will always be the annoying Texan. Dennis Joyner saying, Van, what? I'm telling you, man, I wish I knew what the hell to call people from Van Horn. Like I really do wish I knew what to call them, because I feel like I just did them a complete disservice by calling them Van Hornians and Van Hornites. So somebody out there, please save me. I don't even know like if there's any way that you can Google that up. Like I'm sure there is. Well, we'll figure it out some other day, some other time. Once again, you're tuned in to Tipping Point, my tipping right here on Fox Sports 1380. All kidding aside, to look at this as an opportunity for another city, like if the NFL's out there saying, okay, well, we want to expand our brand, we want to expand, what the NFL is, why go to a city that already has NFL teams there? I don't know what the COVID rate is like in Indianapolis, but once again, me being the Homer Texan, why not down here? Why risk other teams going into other areas of the country and saying, hey, maybe we're bringing coronavirus with us, like with the Tennessee Titans or the New England Patriots, right? Instead of doing that, why not just keep it somewhere close? Of course, keep it away from the Gulf where the hurricane is going to hit. So that's why I leave Houston out of the mix. Why not San Antonio? Why not Austin? Why Indianapolis? I get it. Back in 2008, the Saints played a couple of practices up in Indianapolis, and maybe that's what it is. But I don't know. Like I feel like they can make this easier on both teams by not forcing them to go to Indianapolis of all places. Like just keep it somewhat local over here. Whenever I was in North Carolina, stationed at Seymour Johnson Air Force Base, we had to move our aircraft from Seymour Johnson down to Florida during a hurricane evacuation. I thought to myself, Florida, not normally the place that you would want to go evacuate from a hurricane, but hey, other decisions made up there. Eglin Air Force Base, beautiful base, by the way, and they took care of us as well. Dennis Joyner saying Van Hornians. I'm telling you, man, there's something about Van Horn that I don't know what you would actually call somebody from Van Horn. Dan Ornelas is an educator. Maybe he could let us know, because I have no clue what you would call anybody from Van Horn. As I basically insult an entire city. They're not in my listening radius, but maybe someone from there might be tuned in on one thing of that nature. Nonetheless, the Van Hornians and all the stuff that they've got going on in the beautiful city of Van Horn. The Houston Texans, as we continue to just talk about the NFL right now, the Houston Texans fired Bill O'Brien on Monday. The 4-0 start doesn't seem like that was the reason why they fired him. It seems like more of the fact that he got into a little bit of a kerfuffle with J.J. Watt And there's one thing that we all know, it's that you cannot butt heads with the star, especially whenever that star player is one J.J. Watt. Like, there's no way that your career is going to survive going with who is arguably one of the most beloved people, not only in Houston Texans history, but like the entire state of Texas with what he did following the hurricane a couple years back. There's absolutely no way anybody butts heads with J.J. Watt. Like, he just seems like a good dude. So it's like, why on God's green earth would you do that? Like why would you be the one dude that decides like, oh, okay, I'm going to go after J.J. Watt? You can't question his hustle. Like, I have to sit here and I got to think about Bill O'Brien. Okay, what the hell is it you're trying to do? Like, what's the end game here, Bill O'Brien? Because it doesn't seem like you know really what's going on. You got J.J. Watt, like one of the most beloved players, not just in the NFL, not just in Houston, but like the entire country. Everybody loves J.J. Watt. But you're going to go head-to-head with him. And obviously we saw what happened there. As a matter of fact, reports came out to ESPN's Diana Morsini that is the reason as to why O'Brien, quote-unquote, lost the team. Also, if I'm a Houston Texans fan, I don't care about this fight. Dude didn't seem like he was that great anyway. So maybe it'll be something that I don't know. Maybe it'll benefit the Texans later on. They've got a hell of a talented roster. He did trade away DeAndre Hopkins, so there's that issue that he's going to have to deal with going forward as the guy that traded away their best player for literally a sack of beans. Like, he got nothing out of it and then decided that he wanted to make Kenny Stills the number one receiver in Houston. Good luck with that, Bill O'Brien, who no longer has a job. Well, whenever you look at that, like going head-to-head with a star player, has that ever worked? Because I feel like it never has. Like, you can go back, not even just in football, but in the history of sports. Like, Magic Johnson fired. I think Michael Jordan got Doug Collins fired too. Like there's a lot of star players here that wind up just and getting their head coach fired because the head coach is the one that could be replaced. And we've seen it recently. Like LeBron James is the main dude who does this. Like, LeBron James has a trail of coaches like lives just stacked up behind him. He had fired because he wanted to be the one in charge. And you can't blame LeBron James. Like, he's LeBron effing James, man. Like he's the greatest basketball player of all time. Say whatever it is that you will, nerds. I know, Jordan, rings, blah, blah, blah. We have never seen a basketball player like LeBron James. We will never see one again. Going forward, not even Zion. I know a lot of you want to say Zion. Not even Zion. But whenever you look at that, whenever you look at the power now that the players hold against coaching staffs, like it's really cool to look at this and look at the transformation of things like that. Because the coaches know, or owners know now, general managers know now, that it ain't the coach that makes the team run. Look at the Dallas Cowboys. You still have that same core of players that were a complete disappointment last year. And everybody wanted to go out and blame Jason Garrett for it. Like, oh, Jason Garrett's a terrible coach. I'm one of those people. One, I thought he was there too long. I got tired of all the clapping. But I will tell you this, whenever you look at what the Dallas Cowboys have now, the exact same roster, maybe even added to it on offense. Yes, you can talk about the injuries. Yes, you can talk about some of the other stuff that's lying around the Dallas Cowboys in their wake of all the stuff that they've got going on. I don't think it's Mike McCarthy's fault because now you got a new coach in there. Is it Kellen Moore? Kellen Moore, like the only guy that was left over, basically? Is it Kellen Moore's fault? Is it the general manager? Is it Jerry Jones's fault? I don't know if you can say that. Because how many teams have we seen utterly dominate and win whenever it's not just led up to the general manager or ownership or any of that other stuff? We saw the LA Clippers become a perennial powerhouse team that was going to the playoffs whenever they had Donald Sterling as the owner of the team. So it's all about the player mindset and what the players have going forward. I don't think that you can blame Mike McCarthy right now. I saw a great video earlier today by our dude, Ari Temkin, guest of the show, friend of the show. Does the post and pregame for the Dallas Cowboys on 105.3 The Fans. And he was basically laughable that people right now want to get rid of Mike McCarthy. And I think a lot of that was just made in jest. But there are those stands out there that are like, oh, it's all Mike McCarthy's fault. Like, Mike McCarthy did everything wrong. Going for it on fourth down. Mike McCarthy. It's obviously proving now that it's not Jason Garrett. It's obviously proving now not Mike McCarthy. I don't think it's a talent standpoint with the Dallas Cowboys. Like, yes, there are injuries on the defense, and right now they are on pace to be the most historically worst defense in the history of the NFL. But there's a lot of injuries, and you're going to get a lot of guys back. Dan Ornella is saying 25 years of mediocrity is exactly Jerry Jones's fault. I don't know if you can say that because, like, it's not like the Dallas Cowboys have had the longest run of mediocre teams. I think Max Kellerman had like a great take on this a couple of weeks back, or maybe it was last week, where he said, like, over the last decade, the Dallas Cowboys are averaging 8.5 wins to 7.5 losses a season because that's what they are. They are mediocre. But Jerry Jones a couple of years ago was the general manager of the year. Like, he was the executive of the year whenever it came to the NFL. Like he's had some good drafts. He's had some really good players. Like he's brought in players to win. It's not necessarily the fact that it's on him as the GM. And I don't know where the blame goes on this because, like, everyone would have thought, okay, it's Jason Garrett. You got to have that guy that's on the sideline just clapping around. And I agree with people. Like, after a while, the message goes deaf. Mike Shanahan in Denver. After a while, the message goes deaf. So that was the reason as to why I thought, okay, well, now it's time to move on from Jason Garrett because we've already seen what we can out of that guy. We've already gotten the most out of the Dallas Cowboys with that guy. But, I mean, you look at this team, man, and they are just stacked, absolutely stacked. And earlier today, I was watching a podcast that one of my friends puts up. He's over there in Bristol, Connecticut, over there in Connecticut. He's a huge Giants fan. And even Giants fans aren't really, like, worried about the Dallas Cowboys because of how bad the defense is, because they are the Dallas Cowboys, the one team just mired in mediocrity. Is it an ownership issue? Is this team going to be better if Jerry Jones sells the team? And I don't think so. Is this team going to be better if Jerry Jones is with a GM? And I don't know if there's a concrete evidence there that you can say, okay, yeah, they will be that much better. Whenever you look at the contracts, like, yeah, there were some bad contracts in the early, mid-2000s, but they've had some pretty good deals that have worked out their way. Maybe they paid Zeke a little too much, but whenever you have a top-tier running back and you expect him to be a top-tier running back and he just isn't, I don't know if that's necessarily on ownership because every single one of us would look at Zeke and be like, my God, that dude's a freak of nature. But it is what it is. We will talk more about the Dallas Cowboys here. I have murdered my clock as I no longer have Andrew J. Polk hanging out with me right now. He is feeling a little ill. He will be back tomorrow. He is just doing the proper thing, making sure he's getting tested and all that good stuff because he wants to make sure that he is socially distant the proper way. Andrew, thank you so much for looking out for us over here on the tipping point with my Tipton Fox Sports 1380. Whenever we come back, though, we are going to continue our conversation about the Dallas Cowboys. We will talk about Riverboat Ron Rivera doing something different and why the Tennessee Titans are absolutely going to ruin the season for the NFL. More sports coming up next.
Hey, Mike, this is Jennifer Hunt. Congratulations on your 1-year anniversary show. Best of luck, continued success, and I'll see you soon.
I don't know if any of y'all could hear that stuff, but I basically went over the top diva status over here today, and I decided well, that's great. Different thing for a different time. So I basically decided that I was going to take it upon myself to congratulate myself on a year of having a daily show here on Fox Sports 1380. I sent out a bunch of stuff to a couple of friends. So Lou Romano sent me one. She's kind of upset because I've been on the show. I've invited him. It's just like our schedules don't match up. Like the time the show is, he's on the air. So it's a little difficult. But Lou, I will come on the show sometime. Our friend Jennifer Hahn gave us the last one right now. And, of course, there's going to be a couple more that come in throughout the rest of the day because why not? I want to celebrate me today. I'm also another idiot. Well, thank everybody out there that's watching. If you're doing that on YouTube, on Twitter, Facebook, thank you all for supporting the nonsense that I do over here on this show. Once again, like, retweet, do all that stuff, share it. Let's see if we can't grow this audience a little bit. I don't have the ability right now to Google what you would call somebody from Van Horn. So if there's anybody, actually, you know what? Maybe I do. Maybe I do.
Here from El Paso Auto Center, and business has been rocking all year long, and we're gonna keep it jamming with our Rocktober Sweet Ride of Mine event. So right now, you can drive for 55.
Thank you very much, Dennis Joyner. I appreciate it. Consider you a part of the show. You are family, like part of the show. I hope the best is yet to come. I don't know. Maybe I topped out right now, dude. Like, this is as good as it's going to get. Oh, shout out to my dude, Ruben Casalas. I see you joining right now, too. That's my guy.
Don't wait. We're expecting a sellout. So hurry into Rocktober Sweet Ride of Mine sales event and drive a nicer newer car for just $55 down. Come see me on Gateway East, just west of Trevino, or get your ticket to ride by calling our Rockstar hotline at 519-1100. Or check us out online at ElPasoAutoCenter.com.
I'm not ignoring anybody out there. I'm just letting you know I'm still looking up what you would call somebody from Van Horn. I don't even think they have something that they would call them.
You'll get a confirmation text and the standard data and message rates apply in this nationwide contest. That's family to 200-200. If you haven't heard, ready for it? We're all over the place. You know how to find me home.
Also, we are giving away some money here on Fox Sports 1380. I'll give you all some keywords coming up here in a little bit.
El Paso's home for Fox Sports 1380.
Live from the Fox Sports 1380 studio.
Take my horse down to the old
All right, here we go, y'all.
It's the tipping point.
I picture Andrew Debbie out to this on the would you use that a moped that you ride or just a bike? I'm sorry, but it's not a moped, it's a motorcycle.
With Mike Tipton.
It's not a moped, is it? Hey, Mike, it's Hog from El Paso Parks and Recreation. Congratulating you on your 1-year anniversary with the Tipping Point. We're coming to you live from the Veterans Recreation Center, where we are redoing our floor veterans, past, present, and future. We know that you're one of our. Thank you very much. Well, we are here today to say congratulations on your first year anniversary for Fox Sports with the Tipping Point. The El Paso Parks and Recreation Department can't thank you enough for everything you have done on giving out information, having our youth, and again, all the good times that we've had, especially with Lupi's and the Luann Platter. We wish you nothing but the best, and we hope that there are many years to come. And once again, congratulations, buddy.
It is the Tipping Point with Mike Tipton right here on Fox Sports 1380. Thank you all so much for tuning in, whether you're doing that on the free and reliable iHeartRadio app, or if you're doing it over the airwaves of Fox Sports 1380, maybe you're watching the stream right now as well on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitter. If you did not chance to listen in for those key words, all you got to do is text 200-200. This is a nationwide contest, and the key word that you want to text is family. This will enter you in for a chance to win $1,000 this hour. We're giving away $12,000 a day here on Fox Sports 1380 on all of our iHeart stations. So just listen in, text the keyword family to 200-200. This is a nationwide contest, and we want y'all to take some of our money off our hands right now. I mean, let's face it. Like, if all you got to do is send a text and be entered to win $1,000 every hour from 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock in the morning, 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock in the morning, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 7 p.m., I think it would be worth listening to it, maybe sending out a keyword there. And we will have another keyword coming up today, 7 o'clock on Fox Sports 1380. V. Nightingale saying Bubbles and Cupcake are watching. I don't know who Bubbles and Cupcake are, but thank you, Bubbles and Cupcake, for watching here on the Tipping Point with Mike Tipton, Fox Sports 1380. We were talking about the not-so-glorious Dallas Cowboys. They are an absolute embarrassment. A lot of issues with that team. Just so much that I cannot say the word that I wanted to say. It was not going to be good for your boy. We are celebrating the 1-year anniversary here. I want to give a shout out to my dude, Optimus Prime. He was the most recent person to give us a congratulations here on the tipping point with Mike Tipton on Fox Sports 1380 as we now enter in year 2. I Heart El Paso's biggest mistake. I want to go to Nate Panella, who is saying felicidades. Thank you so much, everyone out there, once again, for your support. Like I said, I was talking about the Dallas Cowboys, and I was talking about how it's not Mike McCarthy at fault. It's not necessarily even Jason Garrett at fault. It's not the players. It's not Jerry Jones. What I think it is the same issue that I think a lot of teams that are used to losing have. And it's that you've lost so much. There's a myriad of talent on the Dallas Cowboys where they are, without a shadow of a doubt, one of the most talented. Jerry Jones, for all of his faults, no one out there can say this or argue this, has put together a hell of a roster. Offensively and defensively. Yes, I know right now defensively they have themselves a liability, but I mentioned this day. Whenever you have Aldon Smith, whenever you have DeMarcus Lawrence, whenever you have Everson Griffin, whenever you have Dontari Poe, whenever you're going to get back old boy that was suspended, Randy Gregory, whenever you're going to get him back, you have one hell of a defensive line that has 8 total sacks in 4 games. Every single one of us would not have predicted the Dallas Cowboys to have 8 sacks through 4 games, averaging 2 sacks a game. Whenever you look at that linebacking core, whenever healthy, Jalen Smith, Leighton Vander Esch, Sean Lee, like these are solid dudes. And I know last year, every single one of us, every team out there, even the detractors of the Dallas Cowboys would have said, as D-Woo wishes us a happy anniversary here on the tipping point on Mike Tipton, every single one of us would have said, even D, who is a Philadelphia Eagles fan, would have said, yeah, that linebacking core, I would build my entire team, my entire defense around that linebacking core that the Dallas Cowboys have. Their liability is at cornerback, and I cannot dispute that one bit, but whenever Chidobe Awuzie gets healthy, it gives them a little more depth. That team is solid defensively. That front 7 right there should wreak havoc on any offensive line they can get. So that's on them. Offensively, nobody can put up with the Dallas Cowboys. There are very few. Like I would put Dallas Cowboys offense up against the Kansas City Chiefs. That Dallas Cowboys no-huddle offense seems to be absolutely unstoppable, if not by themselves. It's been silly turnovers. It's been the dumb penalties. It's been the thing that always seems to be the thing that is in the Dallas Cowboys' way, and it's that lack of discipline. I don't know how you can blame that on the GM/owner, other than maybe he's just down there creating all types of habit. Like I don't know how you could blame that on Jerry Jones. As Dan Arnell says, Jerry Jones is the owner, and he has been great. Jerry Jones, the GM, is the problem. But once again, that team that Jerry Jones, the GM, has put together, you wouldn't expect this from that team. Nobody would expect this from that team that Jerry Jones has put together. Like, this is a solid team on paper. He's not going out there doing the stuff that like a Dan Snyder was doing, where he's just absolutely, spending money on stupid contracts like Albert Hainsworth and stuff like that. Like, he is not doing that type of stuff. Like, he hasn't gone the Dan Snyder route. He hasn't gone the Ford family route that they did, where they just ran people into the ground like Barry Sanders and Calvin Johnson, 2 of the greatest talents this sport has ever seen, ran directly into the ground simply because the ownership and actual team was bad. Jerry Jones has put together a solid roster here, so it's hard for me to say, okay, yeah, he's the problem. I know that's the easy cop-out is, okay, Jerry Jones is the problem because he's been on that team. He's the only person tenured on that team from the last time they won a Super Bowl. I get it. But it's not like they're not trying. It's not like he's putting out, horrible, horrible deals. Jerry Jones as a GM has done a pretty solid job, and it pains me to say that because I want to find someone to blame on the Dallas Cowboys because I believe it's not the players' fault. Like, there's a lack of something in there. Maybe it's Mike McCarthy. Maybe this is the reason why Mike McCarthy got fired from Green Bay because Aaron Rodgers didn't want him there anymore. A lot of people forget that. I feel like that's what it is. Like that's what it's come down to is, oh, okay, well, who do we actually blame? Like it's easy to blame Jerry Jones, and like I know I'm talking to a brick wall here. If you hate Jerry Jones, you hate Jerry Jones, and it's that simple. But once again, whenever you look at that roster that the Dallas Cowboys have, it's hard to blame him because they are not performing as they should. Dak Prescott is going to be a great quarterback. Is he elite? I don't know. I think this is the guy that we have the Joe Flacco conversation with. Is he elite or is he on that bottom tier right under elite? Once again, the dumbest conversation in sports. Dak can be elite if he can hold on to the ball, but we've seen he's had a fumbling problem. That is the one thing that we can say definitively about Dak Prescott is that he has had a fumbling problem. Nonetheless, there needs to be blame going around the Dallas Cowboys, or do you blow up the whole team? And I'm a proponent of this, and I know Dallas Cowboys fans are going to get upset with me because a lot of them are not going to like this. The Dallas Cowboys have been what they are for the last 25 years. They have been 8-8. They have been 7-9. They have been 9-7. Yes, Cowboys fans, they have had great years where they went 13-3. They have had the occasional year where they went 4-12. Yes, they have, but for the majority of the time, they are 8-8, 9-7, 7-9. That is who the Dallas Cowboys are. They've got a myriad of talent. They've got great talent on that. Dan Ornell saying also hires yes-man coaches. The talent is currently there, but the coaches are always looking over their shoulder. Lack of effort, lack of motivation. Certainly not a talent problem. I would say this to that point that Dan Ornell has said, because a lot of people will say that about Jerry Jones. He hires the yes-man coach. The majority of us would hire someone that's a yes man, except for Walter Alvarez, who hired me for some strange reason. But I will say this. You can't say your coach has looked over his shoulder consistently whenever he had Howdy Doody Jason Garrett as his coach for well over a decade. Where there were people talking about Jason Garrett's head on a platter 5 years ago, and it took 5 years for the Dallas Cowboys to fire him. That's not saying that someone's looking over your shoulder. Yes, maybe with Jerry Jones or Jimmy Johnson it was. Yes, maybe with Chan Gailey. Yes, maybe with all that it was. But now there has been a history of we have had an established coach here for X amount of years. It wasn't the coaching carousel that it early on in the 2000s with Bill Parcells and all these other guys. It was we have our coach. We're going to stick with our coach, and hopefully we win as much as we can. And then the message went on deaf ears with Jason Garrett, the coach. I don't know if Mike McCarthy is a yes man. All I know is right now it's too early to fire Mike McCarthy. It's too early for any of that talk for Dallas Cowboys fans out there. And whenever a Dallas Cowboys fan says they miss the days of Jason Garrett, I truly hope that you were joking about that, because there's nothing that should be missed about Jason Garrett. But as we talk about the Dallas Cowboys and we try to find out what the actual problem is, and like I said, it's not a talent problem. What I think it has to be a motivational problem. And I like what Dan Ornell is saying here is that maybe he's too loyal, because we have seen that from Jerry Jones. We have seen him hold on to pieces that shouldn't be there as long as they are. To me, a Tyron Smith. I think the Dallas Cowboys have seen the best out of Tyron Smith, and it's time to trade him away and maybe get some assets out of it. But Jerry Jones will not do that. With a Sean Lee, we saw the best out of Sean Lee, and we haven't seen that for a while. Maybe you trade that away, get some assets out of it. Jason Witten, as much as I love Jason Witten, as much as it pains me to see Jason Witten as a Las Vegas Raider, Jason Witten's best days were well behind him whenever Tony Romo got out of there. So you should have gotten rid of Jason Witten at that time and moved on to something else. You know what? That might be it, Dan. Maybe that's what it is. We found out what the issue is, that he's too loyal. And with that loyalty comes the blind eye that is turned to a lot of people. Because we've all been in that position where we're loyal to a fault for people that we shouldn't be loyal to. So maybe that could be something there, Dan. And thank you for that comment. That's a great comment right there. Maybe Jerry Jones is just a bit too loyal. But only time will tell with the Dallas Cowboys as we move forward here on the Tipping Point of my Tipton Fox Sports 1380. Whenever we come back, though, we're going to talk about why the Tennessee Titans are going to the NFL season. More sports coming up next.
Say congratulations, your 1-year anniversary for your show. Your show, first off, let me just mention Phenomenal. I mean, it's huge. You've become such a celebrity here in El Paso. It's an honor to breathe the same air that you breathe and be in your presence when I'm able to see you once in a blue moon. In all reality, my friend, congratulations. You are, without a doubt, the hardest working person I know. Congratulations, my friend. It is truly an honor to be your buddy. And I want you to know I ain't got nothing but love for you. Keep up.
Business from office essentials to health essentials, all at amazing prices. This week, get $15 off church or yard signs when you spend $75 more. It's 1031. Exclusions apply. Limit one customer. See store.com/.
There's something to be said about that, Dennis. Like I agree, because we saw it with Spurs. Like people that are Spurs fans, you saw this a lot over the last 2 decades with the way that this team was like handled as they got older. A lot of teams playing the Spurs was like playing the championship because you were playing the team that is considered best. I don't know if that's necessarily how teams feel about the Cowboys, but what I think is like with the Cowboys is they're the team that gets to the primetime games no matter how bad they are. They're the team that's always impressed no matter how bad they are. And maybe you want to knock that team off. So you do come out and you play your best. It was a lot of the Patriots. You saw a lot of teams give the Patriots the best effort they possibly could and just come up short. It's not like the Patriots were out there blowing out a bunch of people during the Tom Brady years. Now, they were winning games by – it's weird, but like by a touchdown isn't blowing somebody out. It's one score. So it's not like they were just, out there utterly dominating. Like you look at the game that like people are saying, oh, okay, well, Bill Belichick knows the blueprint now for how to stop Patrick Mahomes. It came down to a 45-40 game that was won in overtime or something like that. It was something stupid. Or at least the one in the playoffs was. It was 37-31, won in overtime. Not by any fault of Patrick Mahomes. It was the offsides right there. Dennis Joyner saying that's when players make their money. Yeah, I mean, how many names have been made against the Dallas Cowboys? Because you had to look at, like, Freddie Mitchell. The one game against the Dallas Cowboys with Freddie Mitchell. Odell Beckham Jr. is still living off of the one catch that he had against the Dallas Cowboys. Like, it's just that one thing. I don't want to sound like I'm hyping up the Cowboys, but they have such a history, such a recent history, where people probably either A, love them, or B, hate them. There is no in-between. And that's just the way that it is. Dan Arnell saying, congratulations, Tip. Something to look forward to on my afternoons during COVID. Get that, my dude. I hope you continue to stay in after COVID. And one of these days, I'd like to bring you in on the show. Like, you've been a guest of the show. We spoke about what the Broncos and the AFC West needed during the draft. So, like, maybe we can bring you on a little bit more. I know as an educator, I don't have that much time, but, hey, it's something to look forward to. DJ saying, just like the Cowboys in the 90s. Well, I mean, I look at it like that. Like, it's the same thing with the Lakers. Like, teams, whenever Kobe was, kind of in his twilight, and last year when LeBron James was hurt, teams were still bringing that A game to just beat the hell out of the Lakers because you put that notch on your belt of, we beat the Lakers. We beat the Celtics. We beat the Spurs. Back in the day with Miami and LeBron James, we beat Miami. There was like this untouchable aura with Michael Jordan, but I know gave them their A game. Our general manager, Walter Alvarez, talks about a game that he went to whenever he was living in Dallas, where the Mavericks led by like Fat Lever back then, and Mark Aguirre beat the Bulls in one of those 12 games that the Bulls lost. So like that's where teams bring their A game against the best. I'm not calling the Cowboys the best, but I'm saying there's something about that team where people just talk about them consistently. Stephen A. Smith has made a career off of hating the Dallas Cowboys. All right, Joe, here we go.
Live from the Fox Sports 1380 studio.
The question of the day now, does pineapple now belong on pizza? Augustine going out saying pineapple, red peppers, and onions is the perfect pizza.
It's the tipping point.
Vegan on pizza? I'm not vegan. I mean, that sounds like something that would be a good plan.
It's like a Western there.
With Mike Tipton.
Bacon and onion on pizza with a little bit of barbecue
Throw a little bit of brisket on there too.
marinated, nice cold Coors Light.
Everything but the moo.
Hey, brother, it's Mondo the Mosh Medina. Just want to say congratulations. 1 year with the tipping point on Fox Sports Radio, a tremendous accomplishment. I'm very proud of everything you've done. And in the 1 year of your fabulous show, you have failed to have me on the show. How is that even possible? You haven't had me, the monster, on your show. What's going on? Make it happen, brother. Make it happen. Hopefully, sometime in the next year, I will be on your fabulous show. All kidding aside, congratulations, my man. I love you. Take it easy, and I'll talk to you soon.
It is the tipping point right here on Fox Sports 1380. I always feel bad for the people on the team now because they can't hear the music. Like I have to walk a fine line here because of all the social media stuff that is that's going out there. I found out one thing with like what's become a common theme on a lot of these rejoins that I've had show today as we continue to celebrate 1 year. Yes, I say it in jest that it's all me, but it's really you guys. Like without y'all, I wouldn't be able to do this show. So thank you for your support, everybody out there that has continued to support this show and the dumb stuff and the nonsense new here. But I found out one theme on here. I'm a terrible, like Mondo the Monster Medina is like one of my mentors, and I could have swore like there was a point in time where in the last year we had him on the show, he would know better than anybody else that he has not been on the show, and now I feel even worse about it. So Mondo, I apologize. A lot of these I'm hearing for the first time, everybody. So that right there, that one caught me off guard because like if I had heard it, I probably would have just edited that part out. Like it made me look bad, man. I'm a terrible friend, Mondo. I apologize. Dennis Jones say, man, he called you out. I got to get D Woo on the show. Like there's so many people I got to get on the show. I want to get my guy Steve Kaplowitz. Like now, I want to say this. A lot of people think that because Steve Kaplowitz and I are basically somewhat going head to head right now as far as hours of our show goes, that there's some sort of beef that he and I have. There's not. I love and revere Steve Kaplowitz. That is a friend of mine. That is someone that I will always continue to love and support no matter what. I even asked him if he could do this. Like he didn't get back at me, so maybe the feeling's not mutual. Maybe there should be a budding in rivalry here. But I digress. I've been telling you that the Tennessee Titans have been the one team that is going to absolutely destroy football. DJ saying he's still got to get in on the action. Whenever you come into town, COVID stuff is done. Anyone that has, like, it is always an open invitation. Even if I can't get you to talk, I have enough chairs where people can come and hang out. That is what I want the show to be. The show is basically hanging out with your friends, talking about sports. Maybe have a couple of beers, but you're talking sports. And that's I've always wanted this show to be about, like that welcoming thing, which is why it's not like a lot of the other shows out there. But as I mentioned, I wanted to talk about the Tennessee Titans and how they have continued to have their problems with COVID-19. They've got 2 more positive tests after having back-to-back days of 0 positives. The Tennessee Titans were also seen in a picture where they were practicing at a high school in a group practice. Head coach Mike Vrabel said that the players were told they could not hold any group workouts. This coming from the school, the officials at the school saying they weren't aware of any restrictions by the NFL in place to prevent players from practicing together. The Tennessee Titans game now against the Buffalo Bills is in a lot of jeopardy. There is a real possibility that this game is not going to get played because of the COVID-19 outbreaks that the Tennessee Titans have had. But there's also a real possibility here that the game is going to be a forfeit. Because the Tennessee Titans already lost their bye week. That's going to be made up by playing the Pittsburgh Steelers. So now they've inconvenienced the Steelers as well. They have to make that game up. So now they don't have another bye week to try to fit another game into. So the chance of the Tennessee Titans having a forfeiture, a team that once again had a 5-point lead against Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs, or a double-digit lead rather, not 25 points, that was Houston, but had a lead against Kansas City and Patrick Mahomes that was in the playoffs, that a lot of people had in vacations and things of that nature, this team has a real possibility of missing back-to-back weeks and having to forfeit a game. There's a real possibility here that this team is going to be the one that ruins it for everybody, that ruins it for a lot of the teams out there. Dan Ornell saying just cut the season to 14 games, add 2 more bye weeks in case of more outbreaks, and have the team stay in hotels for the rest of the season. Stephen A. Smith kind of came up with something like that as well, saying everything needs to be in a bubble. Everything needs to be in a bubble whenever it comes to the NFL teams going forward, and I agree with that 100%. You have to earn the ability to play. You have to earn that. The NBA earned that. Major League Baseball struggled, but they earned that. The Major League Baseball season allowed to have, okay, we can make up these games. The NFL season, I don't know if cutting it short is going to be the real answer here, Dan. What I would say is you have to make okay. And the NFL really has to be ready for this. I know nobody out there wants to hear this. You have to be prepared to know that the Super Bowl is not going to have fans, to know that the Super Bowl is going to be one of these virtual watch parties like we've all been basically accustomed to over the last couple of weeks, or months rather. That is what the Super Bowl is more than likely going to be. So now you can move the Super Bowl around because you don't have to worry about the fans. You don't have to worry about all that other stuff there. Just worry about getting your season in. So expand the actual season. Add the 2 bye weeks without losing games because that's the only way that the NFL is going to be able to do this. We know the NFL is not going to cut down the season, Dan. As much as I would love to see them do that, it's all about making sure they get that sweet, sweet money. And they got to play all those 16 games in order to do it. Add the more bye weeks. Add a week in between each one of the playoff games if you have to, and then condense it whenever it comes down. But the way that it's looking right now for the NFL, it ain't looking good, and it's all because of the Tennessee Titans and what they're going to do going forward. Whenever we come back here on the Tipping Point, my Tipping Fox Sports 1380, we are going to talk about the NBA Finals. Yes, in the middle of the NFL season, in the middle of Major League Baseball's playoffs, we're talking about the finals coming up next.
Michael man, 1-year anniversary, 365 days of giving people wrong information and false hope. A diehard Cowboys fan. Nobody knows why a man who's not giving the Miami Heat credit, my Miami Heat credit all season, all playoffs long, and look at them in the NBA Finals. I don't care the record right now. They're in the NBA Finals. What matters. They didn't want to listen to me. They didn't want to listen to me. I knew what I was talking about, but clearly this is a man who has no shame, does not care what anybody thinks. And if he's wrong, he's going to go down fighting. Because you know what? It is what it is. You know, this is something we got to get used to. Right, brother?
Fox Sports 1380 traffic.
We have
That was my dude, Patrick Chalvier. You would figure a guy that's a professional would know to introduce himself. So the entire time he's dumping on me, you could have thought, hey, that could have been just literally anybody. We get told we sound a lot alike. It could have just been me talking about me to me. Once again, talking about myself in the fourth person. Dan Ornell saying, well, I have to try the new menu food or the new food at Rubik's. Their new menu is fair. No, I should. Like, they're literally like, if I were to put a window in the studio where I normally do the show from, I would see their parking lot. Like I would get the ambiance of what Rubik's is behind me. So maybe I'm going to go in there. I'll check them out. I'm just weary about the amount of people that I see in there. Maybe that's something I just got to get over mentally, right? Like maybe that's just me. I got to get over it myself. But we'll see. I'm trying to do quick math in my head right now so I know when I'm supposed to get out on the show. Don't have Andrew hanging out with me. Andrew, thank you for all you do. Thank you for actually staying away and being safe. I appreciate that greatly. Tampa Bay's already beaten the Yankees. I don't like this. I don't like it one bit. I want to give a shout out to my dude John Johnson tuning in right now as well. Dan Ornell saying, just take a peek. Usually not busy. His friends own it. Tell them I sent you. I will. I will let them know that you have sent me over there, Dan. And if anything happens to me, everybody out there can hold you accountable for it. Deal. I'm about it then. I am about it. Say hi to my dude Andrew J. Polk. Y'all coming up soon. And actually starting on October 19th, we are going to be launching a brand new Talk El Paso that is going to be live. But it's going to be live Monday through Friday for 30 days. We're trying to get this off the ground, so please give us all your support that you can. My dude Andrew J. Polk does a great job over there. Although he didn't give me a joint celebrating our 1 year anniversary, so maybe I'll just have to get mad at him whenever I see him next.
I had a friend that ended up fitting into that school, and he ended up being like a captain on the team.
With Mike Tipton.
I'm done with that chapter in my life.
Big loser.
It is the tipping point with Mike Tipton right here on Fox Sports 1380. Everyone out there in Radio Land streaming on the free and reliable iHeartRadio app. This song is Plectrum. It is by our dude, Marky Mix, friend of the show, who also didn't send in a video congratulating on a 1 year anniversary here on the tipping point with Mike Tipton, Fox Sports 1380. You can check this song out on Wolf Rage Records. It has been released. One of our El Paso artists, one of our local El Paso artists, our guy Marky mixing a song on a record label. That's a huge deal. Please go out there and support him. Plectrum is the name of the song. You can get it on SoundCloud, iTunes, anywhere like that. My dude Marky Mix making great music as always. I got nothing but love for you, baby. Well, once again, it is the tipping point with Mike Tipton right here on Fox Sports 1380. I read opening tip. In case anyone heard me stutter and stammer over my words, I read opening tip. That is why I thought it was the opening tip. I'm an idiot. I never said I was smart, but I sound decent, and that's why I get to do this show. Dan Ornell is saying that I need to go and try out the food over at Rubik's. I might do that. Like, they're literally across the parking lot from me. I may as well just go over there, check it out, and have myself a good time. Dennis Joyner wishing Ann Polk a get well soon. I am very much myself wishing that he gets well soon. But like I said, coming up soon on the 19th of October, Andrew J. Polk will have a show, Talk El Paso. We're going to expand Talk El Paso, 4 o'clock to 5 o'clock on KTSM AM 690. Andrew J. Polk has been doing a phenomenal job. We are going to grow this show. We'll support out there as well. Please tune in, giving us in El Paso live, local, in-depth news coverage of all the events going on that affect the city of El Paso. Andrew, I know you can do it, baby. And if you don't, you can expect nothing but pure ridicule from me going forward. But it is the tipping point of Mike Tipton right here on Fox Sports 1380. Currently, right now, the New York trailing the Tampa Bay Rays 1-0. The Miami Marlins on the verge of elimination as they lost to the Atlanta Braves 2-0 today. Oakland staving off elimination against the Houston Astros, winning 9-7, coming back furiously in the latter half of that game to win a big matchup here, sending it to a Game 4 as they take on the Houston Astros. And later on today, a game that has some ties to the city of El Paso. I guess even the Yankees game has some ties to the city of El Paso. But the El Paso Chihuahuas parent team The San Diego Padres will be taking on Hawks, our Hawktimus that we love here on the show. Will be taking on his LA Dodgers. I'm torn on this one because I want Hawks team to make it to the World Series and lose in 7 games to my New York Yankees, the evil empire. I also have my sincere doubts about the Yankees making it to the World Series, but that's a different topic to talk about another time. At least Giancarlo Stanton looks jacked and sexy and all kinds of stuff, climbing up slowly the man crush list. If he were to stay healthy, who would be, but Giancarlo Stanton's got to stay healthy. I'm going to ask this question, and then I will let everyone out there who is watching in Radio Land figure this one out. Let me know if maybe I'm just being a little bit of jerk. As D-Win, I don't go places where the maximum occupancy is greater than 75%. Our guy, Jaime Jaime Pinky in New Mexico, saying easy on the man crushes. That is my guy from Socorro. A little bit of love right there. I appreciate it. If you don't know what the man crush list is, Tom Brady, number 1, Tony Romo, number 2, Ryan Reynolds, number 3 right now. And we'll see how it goes going forward. Like, I got to figure out where I'm going to put Giancarlo Stanton on this. Judge got too much teeth. Looks like a great white shark. Don't know if I'm going to do it. Don't know if I'll add him on there. But we'll figure it out as we move forward here on the Tipping Point. My Tipping Fox Sports 1380. I wanted to ask everybody out there. Russell Westbrook left an $8,000 tip after he left the NBA bubble saying they took care of us. Russell Westbrook and the Houston Rockets were there a little over 2 months. Is $8,000 for roughly 6 days a good enough tip? And I will leave that out there for everyone who is watching right now, everyone who is out there in Radio Land. Get at me at Mr. Tipton 33, at Mr. Tipton 33, Twitter, Instagram. That's how you get at me, or even in the comments section. Dak right now is about number 5, Dennis Joyner, who was asking about that. The boot and hats look that Dak Prescott brought out, though, was extremely sexy. Reminded me of a younger version of myself. I'm an idiot. But is an $8,000 tip over 2 months of time a good enough tip whenever people are waiting on you hand and foot? Like I don't want to be that guy, but I'm going to be that guy. Russell Westbrook, do better, because that doesn't feel like a tip for me. And my last name is Tip. I'm an idiot. LeBron James yesterday, though, before the Miami Heat lost to the LA Lakers, sent out a text message to all of his teammates right before the tip-off of NBA Finals Game 4 and said simply this: must win. If that didn't send chills down your spine, I don't know what would. Jaime Pinky saying before we get out of here, I figured the 2009 Socorro High School Championship baseball team was number 1 on your list. No man crushes for this guy. I think the 2009 Socorro High School Championship baseball team might be number 1 on your list as well. It's okay to have a man crush list. Every single one of us has. As a matter of fact, everybody get at me, Mr. Tipton 33 crush list is. Everybody I want to think over the last year. We're about to get out of here. The Odd Couple with Chris Broussard and Rob Parker coming up.
Hey, it's Mike Rivera, Program Director of Fox Sports 1380, and I'd like to wish a wonderful 1-year anniversary to the Tipping Point. Wait, didn't we run this show on Fridays only? Isn't the Odd Couple supposed to... Somebody, give me a better script. Get this out of here.
Live from the Mesa Street Studios, we are El Paso's home for Fox Sports. Fox Sports 1380 AHEY AM El Paso, an iHeartRadio station.
All right, well, that's the end of that, everybody. Thank you once again for all your support. I appreciate it greatly. Get at me, Mr. Tipton 33. I want to know what those man crushes are. Jaime, I know you got one, dude. I know you got one. Everybody has a man crush list. At least I hope they do. Because if they don't, then I feel like I'm going to be extremely weird. And I'm okay with that.